Name me one Bad Bunny song, Darian.
Bad Bunny, Monaco. I think.
Is that
I think he's the. That's him, right?
Curtis says yes.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Darian wins.
That's the only one I know.
And initial reaction last night, Darian, because I thought of you when the game ended. The Dallas Cowboys tying the Green Bay Packers at 40 was a huge victory for the Dallas Cowboys in that organization.
It was. I mean, especially going against Michael Parsons, right? I mean, you had to be able to validate somewhat that trade, and you'll take not taking the L and not having a huge game. I mean, that's huge for the Cowboys.
That was the Cowboys Super Bowl last night. That was a Super Bowl win in 2025. Jerry, take that to the bank.
Jerry was just sitting on the edge of his seat like it was a Super Bowl game, right? Just the intensity on his face was crazy.
We talked to Luke Mullender in hour one, Cowboys fan, and I said, "What about the smoke that Jerry throws out in the post-game presser about we got great quarterback play on both sides of the ball. We had some guys out there, and then we had one of the most expensive players ever in the NFL or whatever he said." Oh, was that a throw, wasn't it?
Oh, I know. I don't know why Jerry seems to be taking these shots at Micah. I mean, at some point, Jerry's going to have to pay a defender top dollar like that, and it won't be a quarterback. So I don't know. There's some bad blood there, and I don't like those guys taking shots at each other like that.
Yeah, Jerry.
But it was good. The Cowboys tie is going to go down as one of the greatest games in NFL history. That they're probably already working on a 30 for 30.
Look how sad that is. That a tie ball game is going to go down in history. That's so crazy.
You know, this is all seriousness now. This is how the NFL kind of rolls. A lot of people. I listen to Dan Patrick almost religiously every day, and another talk I was listening to, I think, Get Up on ESPN this morning. Hate the ties. Get rid of the ties. I wouldn't be surprised, Darian, if the NFL starts looking at, okay, every game's got to end in a winner and a loser.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when it gets down to the end of the season and you're sitting there fighting for playoff position and you have this tie on your record, you didn't have a chance to win and you don't make the playoffs, it definitely would be something that these owners will get upset about. I mean, it's big business with these NFL games. So ties do no good for you.
Darian, could I ask a question? This is crazy. So yesterday, the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 31-25. Jalen Hurts had no yards passing in the second half. Did you ever have a game where you had no yards passing in either the first or the second half?
Not that I can recall. I mean, even if I just throw a little swing pass to the back or something, but for them to win and him, have no completions is just totally.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Riders and Elks, the loss in Edmonton. Maz and I talked in hour one. It's like the recency bias thing where we don't judge the game on that last drive where they get down there, failed 2-point conversion. Darian, can you put your finger on it as a former quarterback, a guy that ran an offense, won a Grey Cup, all that? Why are they starting so slow offensively?
You know what? I think it's just a new lineup of guys that, entering the lineup, and Trevor's trying to get that chemistry going back with them. I mean, you have a Joe who's came back mid-season. Emilus is now entering back in the lineup, and I think Sean Bain is recovering from a knee injury as well. So whenever you're trying to get the chemistry going, you've been used to a certain group of guys for half the season, and now you're pretty much, changing the lineup a little bit for the good, of course. It's tough to get the timing and the chemistry down. So I think these games you're seeing Trevor struggling a little bit, trying to find the timing. And I mean, you have to give the defenses credit as well, right? When you've seen, 10 to 12 games of offense from the Riders, you kind of get a beat on what they're doing. And then it becomes a mano-a-mano football game. So a mixture of just new guys coming into the lineup and then teams having some film where they can game plan a little bit more and be a little bit more strategic as to how they approach this Rider offense. I think both of those things contribute to it.
What was J.C. Sherritt's defense doing to Trevor to confuse him at times? I mean, there's 2 interceptions. There's 3 turnovers in the first quarter. 2 of them were interceptions. What did you see that they were doing that was causing the Riders problems?
A lot of three-man rush. They were taking a defensive lineman out, putting an extra linebacker in, and having him kind of hover over the hash mark area, maybe as a quote unquote spy type of guy, just reading Trevor's eyes and just following the ball. And JC, he was a very good lurking linebacker himself. He had a lot of interceptions as a middle linebacker, so he's known for being able to put guys in position where they can make plays, and you saw that early in the game.
Failed 2-point conversion. We had receiver coach Marquay McDaniel on in hour 2, and I asked him, I was like, was that supposed to be a post corner route or whatever? He said, no, that wasn't the route. Miscommunication there. Do you see anything, Darian, on maybe what that would have been, what that should have been? Obviously, it looks like Joe was not on the same page.
Yeah, I just think it was an option route, and I think Trevor expected Joe to do one thing, and Joe did something else. I just think it's just miscommunication, and this is the timing and experience that I'm talking about with these guys just not being on the same page, not playing in a lot of meaningful games and pressure-packed situations. I think as the season progresses, if this is the final lineup of receivers that it's going to be, then they need to use these next few games to get on the same page, so that in these situations, if they come up again, the guys will be on the same page.
Okay, I want to get Curtis to play it on the stream and then try and pause it. Look at the middle of the field right here. So I think Joe's like, is he looking at the middle of the field here and saying, well, I'm taking this to the post where it goes the other way? Because Edmonton has the dig covered, and then they have the corner kind of covered there, Darian, no?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what it looks like. It looks like Joe is going towards the middle. He's kind of throwing his hands up right there saying, he doesn't understand why Trevor's throwing that ball outside. But that's just miscommunication. And that just comes from reps. Yeah. And also, it just seems like Trevor just didn't trust it. He didn't even give him a shot. And, I don't understand that, especially with it being the last play of the game, potentially. You at least want to give your guy a shot for a jump ball. So just miscommunication there. That's what I'll chalk it up to.
Instantly after that play happens and then the game's over, I look at, you've got Keyshawn Johnson, who's been your security blanket all year. You've got Tommy Neild, who's becoming your security blanket. And you have Sam Emilus back. All three of those guys kind of over the middle or somewhere near the goal line on a quick hitter. And I'm not an offensive coordinator, but Joe seemed to be probably the last guy, as you talked about, Darian, as far as familiarity with the quarterback. I'm sure if you could play it again, there would be a different play call. But I'll ask a question because somebody had texted in earlier. Why would AJ Ouellette's running well? Although, yes, he did get stopped earlier. As a quarterback, when you're 2.5 yards out on those 2-point converts, do you like the run or do you like the pass?
I like the best of both worlds. And I would just hate to turn around and just hand the ball off and not give yourself a chance to get on the perimeter or at least put the ball in the air for a 50-50 ball. So I'm kind of on the fence in that situation. I'm just not a firm believer on running the ball with a straight handoff, trying to get a 2-point conversion. I think your percentages go way down if you try to do that, regardless of the type of game that he's had. Defenses are geared up. There are more guys in the box when you only have to get 2 yards. So I wouldn't want to put all my eggs in that basket, but I like the run pass option. And like you said, with Emilus and Keyshawn Johnson and these guys on the same side of the field, the first thing that comes to my head is it's a man zone read. If it's man coverage, you go to one side of the field, and if it's zone, you go to the other. So I don't think it's necessarily a personnel decision. I think it was more so based on coverage.
We talked about J.C. Sherritt and the defense, and football's game planning, right? Now we're how many games in? There's lots of tape. We're watching tendencies and all that. And a lot of people, some people, not a lot, some people were texting into the Prairie Land Rentals text line, criticizing Mark Mueller, criticizing the play calling. At this juncture of the season, Darian, there's got to be a stack of plays that they're keeping close to their chest vest region.
100%. And not only that, look, different teams match up with you physically, speed wise, certain plays, just don't work against certain teams. And you have to give Edmonton credit. They're a team that's playing with a whole bunch of desperation. They need these final games. Guys are fighting for their jobs, their careers. So they're going to go all out. And they're going to let everything out of their gun, while Saskatchewan knows they're in the playoffs and they want to keep a couple plays near and dear to their heart just in case, you may need them in the playoffs. So it's just two totally different games, two totally different situations, two totally different organizations in the way they're approaching these games. And you just have to give Edmonton credit. I mean, they're fighting for their lives, and it's a different type of intensity you have to have when you're playing against a team like that.
Maz, I want to ask one more on that play where Cody drops back, hits Hilaire deep because it's a zero. It's an all-out blitz. When you're there, are you calling that out of the huddle, being like, okay? And is there a code word? Is there an audible to go to if you see that it's going to be, and then your guy just goes?
Yeah, I think that's 100% film study. I mean, if you watch Roland Milligan on that play, his eyes are kind of in the wrong place, and you see that from film. That if it's a run situation, he's kind of aggressive. His eyes are in the backfield, and Cody had a good fake to the running back and just saw Roland flat-footed and was able to get the ball behind him. So I just think that's game planning, and this is what I mean by teams now having 12, 14 games of film on your tendencies. You have to switch things up a little bit, your stance, how you approach a certain coverage, whatever the case may be. You disguise these things because you can kind of get into a tendency of repetitiveness, in game 12.
Going into the game, my biggest fear was the Edmonton Elks have learned how to hang around, and they're scrappy. When you watch Cody Fajardo be scrappy and do that, because you were a scrappy player yourself, you had to. You willed many wins for this Rider team. Do you kind of little smile to see Cody just grinding away, doing his thing, doing whatever it's going to take to put his team in a position to win?
Yeah, Cody has shown this since his very first start against Saskatchewan earlier this season. And I mean, for a guy to be let go after winning a Grey Cup and organization deciding to go younger, I mean, you just have this chip on your shoulder, and you're going to do everything you can to put yourself back in position to be a starter. Look, we don't have much time to be a professional quarterback, and play at our prime. We have a few years. Cody's point, and for him to be let go in Montreal, he's doing everything in his power to show Edmonton that he can be the guy leading this organization moving forward. So, of course, I'm proud of him. I've had a chance to talk to him personally, and I'm happy that he's going out there and showing his worth to a team who just needs some type of spark.
If you're in the Ottawa Red Blacks locker room, you're saying there's a chance. There's still a chance there. Guys playing for jobs, coaches maybe playing for jobs, maybe the new head coach is there. What's going on in that locker room? How desperate? What are the guys talking about?
It's about your life, your livelihood, your career at this point. I mean, coaches are hoping to, keep their job, and the players are hoping to put some good tape on film so that, if Ottawa doesn't bring them back, then they have a chance to catch on with the team across the league. So pretty similar to Edmonton's situation as well. Like you want to do everything you can to show the organization, that they should believe in you, coaches and players. You have nothing to lose. Empty the playbook. They're going to you have to be ready for trick plays and all-out blitzes, and you name it. They're going to hold nothing back. They need this win desperately. And, like I said, whenever your livelihood is on the line, look, guys get paid well in the CFL to play a kid's game, and you want to keep that going as long as possible. And in order to do that, you have to have good film, and you have to win games, and they're going to do everything they can to put those two together.
Darian, as a Rider fan, probably the most concerning thing to me after the weekend was all done. The Riders lost. Okay. But, this is the big but. BC looks good. They can play a little defense. The offense is humming. All right, there was that. Yeah. The Montreal Alouettes look good in a win. And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers got Zach Collaros back, and they eviscerated the first-place team in the East with precision. It was a beatdown. And I'm like, oh, everybody else is ramping up. Just like you and Luke have always talked about this last third of the season. Everybody's going to start playing good football. There's teams playing good football. That's what really worried me. Not so much about losing to the Elks.
Yeah, whenever you see a team with a potent offense have 3 turnovers from your quarterback and still can go out there and get a win, especially when your defense hasn't been known to play good football, but they're kind of picking it up at the perfect time. It's something you definitely, need to keep in the back of your mind, and it's kind of scary moving forward. And then for Winnipeg, they're always going to be a tough team to beat in that place. I wouldn't put too much emphasis on them beating Hamilton like that. Look, we all know that's a tough place to play, and they win a lot of home games in that building. If you're a betting man, you know that. And, so I wouldn't put too much on Winnipeg's win. If you can probably get them away from that stadium, I don't think they're the same football team. But look, this is what the CFL is all about. It's all about coming down to the end of the season, having the schedule and the standings being tight, fighting for playoff pushes each and every week. This is what it's all about. And it's going to be exciting next few weeks of football.
Okay, Darian. If you if Bill the bookie there, your guy calls you and says, Darren, you got a credit here for a free sprinkle. You got to pick the 2 teams right now who you think are going to be in the Grey Cup. Who are the 2 teams that you're taking right now?
Today, with a healthy Davis Alexander out of the East, I'm going to take the Montreal Alouettes. And in the West, I'm going to take the Riders. I think once they clinch the West final at home, I don't think there's a team that'll come into Mosaic Stadium and win that game. So I'll have the Montreal Alouettes and our good old Saskatchewan Roughriders in the Grey Cup.
I think Montreal ends up in first place. I think they're going to overtake Hamilton before the season's done if they keep trending in that direction, because they look with Davis Alexander.
You
they're
just
a complete
see how
football team.
Explosive. Yes, they're super explosive, complementary football. The defense just seems to know that when he's there, they have a chance. So just a totally different football team with him at quarterback.
All right, Darren. Jets, Miami, Cincy, Denver tonight. Do you even watch those games, or do you just go for a walk?
Oh, man, I'm so I don't know what to think about this Miami Dolphin team. I mean, they just seem to have all the talent in the world, but can't put it together. So if I'm a betting man, I stay away from that game. I like Denver over Cincy. Cincy without Joe Burrow, especially on the road, Mile High Stadium, the altitude, I don't think they stand a chance.
All right. That's it. That's all for this week. Let's see what happens in Ottawa Friday, and we'll reconvene on Monday.
Sounds good.
Right
Thanks,
on.
guys.
Thank you, sir.